So are we ready? First, let me acknowledge that the idea of a Hall of Fame came from our president, Mr. Michael Dooley. So thank you for this opportunity to honor people who have made a significant contribution to the Team Horner Group, historically speaking. And this one, Gary Chisling was kind of boring, wasn't it? Not many colorful stories about midnight in the bars or anything like that. I'm expecting a lot more out of all of you today. But I'll start with my own thoughts. Only one page. So from the 1980s on until just a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it's been, Skip really made a difference in our story of success at Team Horner. So that's the one thing, if you can't remember anything else, that's my opening line. Skip has made a difference in the success of our business, our company, our family. My first contact with Mr. Greggs was in the 1970s in a venerable operation called Poogie Pools. Most of my relationship was with Sherry, not Skip. And why was that, Sherry? They were always past due. And back then, I was the collection manager. You get the last thought. I have so many memories of this guy and our times together. It's amazing. I'll just tell you one little story. For many years, we used to have a breakfast on the final day of the National Trade Show. Excuse me. And I would take the entire team to a mystery location. And in New Orleans, I've got water. In New Orleans, whatever year it was, I don't know. The breakfasts were at 7 a.m. so that we could be back in time for the show to start. And in New Orleans that particular year, there's a famous trolley in New Orleans that goes from that main corridor out into the suburbs. And I always researched by talking to taxi cab drivers in terms of where would you go for breakfast if you want a real taste of New Orleans. So we went to this place on the trolley. It was really more convenient than using cars. So we all met at the trolley station about 6:30 and took about a 20 or 30 minute trolley ride out to this restaurant. Well, Skip was there, but I noticed about halfway out the trolley ride that he was asleep. And I said, wow, what the heck happened here? So what I found out is that Skip went directly from Bourbon Street to the trolley. You can let your imagination do the rest. But what really matters for all of us is not our own personal opinions, but really the opinions of our customers. What do they think of the people that they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis? And I have to tell you that Mr. Greggs is both respected and beloved by so many of the people that he served during his 30-something years with Team Horner. And that's about the greatest compliment you can give anybody that's in the sales department. He has high energy. He was a great educator in terms of teaching our customers how to sell our products, because don't forget that we truly pioneered the heat pump business and pretty much the salt generation business as well. A little bit different story there. But Skip truly deserves this recognition here today. So that's kind of my thoughts on Mr. Greggs. Before we present the plaque, I think it's appropriate for those of you who have a story or two to come up. So who would like to come up and tell a story about Mr. Gregg's? Somebody, come on. There's a lot of them out there. Linda, come on up. You start the game.
And as I said, should this be a roast or a toast? Let's see, shall we? Okay, I decided to adapt this from a piece I wrote for our June 2019 newsletter, marking Skip's retirement. Over Team Horner's 52 years, we have had the good fortune of benefiting from the talent, wisdom, passion, and sacrifice of many incredible teammates, an elite number of whom have been pathfinders and trailblazers for our group of companies, whose contributions are intrinsic parts of our overall growth and success, and who have earned a special place in Team Horner's history. Skip Greggs is certainly a teammate who belongs in this illustrious group, especially so because he has helped so many parts of Team Horner during his decades of tenure, including Horner Express worldwide. In fact, Skip traveled all over the world for what was then Horner Discus International. He was a true pioneer, creating demand for American brands and products and forging customer relationships in new export markets. His sales trips were like odysseys, often for 6 weeks or more at a time, and covering a variety of cities, countries, and cultures. There were no cell phones or laptops back then, no GPS or Google, just suitcases full of product samples and catalogs, and a local copy of the Yellow Pages in the hotel room, if you were lucky. His stories of those experiences are legendary and highly entertaining. Skip's the best salesperson you'll ever meet, but it's not because of slick strategies or formulaic techniques. It's because Skip has heart. He cares about the win-win and the long-term success of the customer and the company. It's because he formed relationships built on integrity that endure to this day. It's because he believes we are the best, our products are the best, and that our customers deserve the best. It's because he tells a story better than anyone, knowing we must share our knowledge effectively to truly help our customers grow. It's because he knows that the why is more important than the what. It's because he can make any subject understandable, interesting, and relevant, no matter how technical or complex. Skip's immeasurable contributions formed a legacy that continues to compound and resonate. Skip the man loves and cherishes his family more than anything. Yes, even more than golfing, boating, and fishing. He has a caring and generous spirit and has probably shared a trawler full of lobster tails over the years with those lucky enough to receive them. His quick wit and sense of humor made every event, trade show, and class more fun, and I guarantee that laugh of his will get you smiling in a hurry, no matter how your day is going. On a personal note, Skip showed me that even when you disagree and have intense debates with someone who always has to have the last word and sometimes drives you crazy, it's important to remember to say, "I love you anyway." Thank you, Skip, for all you've done for every one of us at Team Horner. You will always be a part of us here, and it's a joy to celebrate your special day of recognition with you.
Thank you, Linda. All right, who's next? Uh-oh, Mr. Tawney. This should be good.
What's that? Not true, you're right. No, I'm not going to tell a lot of stories. I will say that on that trolley ride, it was my shoulder you were sleeping on. But Skip and I, we butted heads quite a bit through the years, but it was always with professionalism. We saluted the captain more than once together. I'm not going to tell a lot of stories. I just wanted to come up and say that through my time in dealing with Skip and watching him deal with everybody else that he came in contact, the one word that always comes back to me is respect. I've always had respect for him, and it was well deserved. So, congratulations.
All right, there's no particular order. Who's next? Uh-oh, Mr. Lockwood. This could be trouble. And just so you know it, Dan Lockwood is a near-term future inductee into this same Hall of Fame.
Go figure that. Okay, Skip. I thought about this for a few weeks, even though he didn't tell me he was getting this. And Skip and I also go back to the early 70s when Poogie Pools and Sherry and her mother, Bee, used to do the ordering, forget to pay, and Bill would go collect. But Skip weighed about 130 pounds. I think he had red curly hair and he smoked like a chimney. I don't know. But then somehow we got lucky and Skip came to work for us. And in the 70s or early 80s, Skip and I divided the sales territory for all of Horner. He took from Boca North and I went from Boca South. And Skip was predominantly a salesperson extraordinaire for pool builders. See, Skip was a pool guy. I was a box mover. So one of the fortunate things we had in this empire, we had a guy named Paul Fomer and a guy named Skip Craigs. I didn't know Skip's real name for 25 years. I just thought it was Skip. But between Paul and Skip, we had something that no other distributor had anywhere in the world. We had pool guys on staff. So if you had a problem, Kevin Ford sitting over there had something he couldn't figure out, and he's a pretty smart guy, he would actually call Skip or Paul. If he had a couple hours, he would call Paul. If he had a few minutes, he would call Skip. But they respected Skip. And if those of you in distribution or manufacturing, having somebody like that to fall back on as a box mover. I knew it was the part number and what the cost was, but I had no idea how it worked. So a lot of times Skip and I would join hands together and go make joint sales calls to satisfy the customer. And then, of course, we had a personal relationship. At one time, Skip was my best friend. And then, you know what happened? He had freaking grandkids. I'm out. And we played golf a lot. And Bill, thanks for paying for the golf all those years. It was awesome. And one story, Skip and I are in North Carolina. We're on the first tee. I forget who went off first. He probably did. He gets a hole in one. I hit the next ball to within 6 or 8 inches of the thing. And we still laugh about it today. Of course, we were renting convertibles and it was colder up there. So we had the heat on, the top down, and we got out of the car. We couldn't turn our necks for about a week. So those are some of the journeys we had together. And I still consider Skip my best friend. And it's nice when you can have a best friend that's really a best friend. And if I needed something, like getting me out of jail, Skip would come down and bond me out. That's a true friend. And I miss him because we don't see each other. And the last thing I'll close with, you owe me $5 because we bet on the All-Star game for the last 25 years, baseball. And he's so stubborn, he thinks the designated hitter is stupid. But he's lost 10 in a row, and he owes me $5. So put it in your grandkids' bank book. Thank you for being my friend, and thank you for being part of Horner.
So who wants to follow that? Somebody. Okay, Mr. Dooley.
So Skip, I love Skip. He's awesome. I go back also to delivering pool supplies at Tapugi Pools on Coral Springs. And I could tell you a lot of stories as well, but the thing that I want to share with you is something that we had an interaction, and it was a personal thing. We were both working for 2 different companies at the time, and we got on this airplane together, and he's like, "Hey, Mike." I'm like, "Hey, Skip." And so we switched seats, and we're sitting next to each other, and we're chit-chatting, and he says, along the way, "How are things going?" and all that kind of stuff. I said, "Well, I really got this problem. You know, me and my daughter, teenage kids, you know, we were going through the whole thing, and we had a falling out and that sort of thing." And then I said, "But yeah, that really bugs me." And then Skip says, he says, "Okay, you want to know what I think?" And I said, "Sure." And so he says, he goes, "Do you love her?" And I said, "Well, of course I love her." And he says, "Well, then you're being stupid," you know. And I said, "You're right," you know. And I went back and I talked to my daughter, and we fixed everything up, and ever since then it's just been awesome, you know, with her. So that's the kind of guy Skip is. So thank you for that, Skip. That's what I'll remember the most about you. That was about 20 years ago.
All right, who's next? Mr. Detweiler, come on up.
Hi. Well, Skip's always been a great mentor to me since I came on board. He taught me about heat pumps and, more importantly, about people. And the big things that I took away are very, very simple. He always told me to keep my family first, because I used to get really stressed out, right? Skip would talk me off the ledge. As long as your family's okay, it's not that important. Everything will be all right. And he taught me to listen a lot. And it was funny, before I got married, a lot of my memories of the travels were with Skip like we were a couple. We did the road to Hana together in Hawaii. We drove all the way up Pacific Coast Highway together and got in trouble. Because back when we first started to make a heat pump for Hayward, and everybody said, "Keep it close to your vest. Don't tell anybody that we're making this. Hayward's really sensitive." So our first sales call is at Blue Haven Pools, and Skip goes, "We're making Hayward's heat pumps for him." On our way to the next meeting, I think it was Bill, was it you that called me and yelled at me, "What the hell's up with our rogue salesman out there?" Right? Al Eisman. Al Eisman did that. So really, Skip, you've made it a lot of fun and meaningful to work here. And you've been a tremendous mentor, getting my priorities correct and putting everything in its right place. I always think about that every day. So thank you.
Who's next? Kevin, you came. Are you going to say something? You just here? Okay. Uh-oh, here comes Darren. Darren wants to tell a story or two.
So this may seem like a theme. Sorry, Skip. But Skip always says, I really like getting drunk. He says, I don't like being drunk, but I like getting drunk. So I've had this quote on my board for a while, and I was thinking about Skip's Hall of Fame, and this really meant a lot to me, so I wanted to share it because it's all about being the man in the arena. And so it's by Teddy Roosevelt back from 1910. It says, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of the deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man in actually the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and no shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that their place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. So our man, Skip, the man in the arena. So thank you very much.
Next. Come on up, Billy. This should be good.
Well, first off, I want to apologize to Skip for when I left. I know it hurt our relationship, and I apologize. But I'm back. It's great to see you. I appreciate you, everything you did for me. Number one, just like Mike, you said, I remember trying to quit cigarettes one time, and I said, Skip, I'm just going to have one at the evening or one at breakfast. And he goes, well, then you don't really want to quit, do you? And then, after that, I was like, you're right. And that was it. The second thing I want to appreciate you is one sales meeting we had. There was this girl in marketing. And I said, Skip, who is that girl? And get her out to dinner with me. So that night we went out to dinner, and I ended up marrying her. So I appreciate that, even though we're not together anymore. But hey, it happened. So anyways, thanks for everything, Skip. It was great knowing you, and all the good times we had. It was great. Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Ron Burr, you're here. Are you going to say something? You have a hard time not. You even brought Jerry along.
I just have a couple things to say, Skip. And they're really not nice because all this stuff that everybody's been saying about you, well, it's nice for you, but let's hear the truth. So we were over in the 810 building. We hadn't moved over here yet, and I was a box pusher. Dan had me out in the warehouse counting skimmer nets or something. And there was an announcement that came over the PA system, and you had just started working there. And the announcement was, "Skip to the office." So we all did. But the one story I'll always remember, we were in this building over here, and I was in the purchasing department. Yeah, it's coming, Skip. You know what I'm going to talk about. And we had one vendor came in. His name was Jerry, and he wore a toupee. He probably bought it at Dollar General, I think. It was really, really bad. And so Mr. Chisling, who's also in this honor group, along with you, Skip, were outside my office door making all kinds of faces at me as this gentleman was there trying to pitch me on buying Poolmaster or whatever it was. And then you got on the phone and actually called my phone and said, "Hey, ask Wiggy if he wants to sell some Wig Away." Well, I'm trying to be professional, and I'll never forget that, Skip. But it's been an honor knowing you all these years, Skip, and the times when I worked here and we worked together was times that I'll remember. You were always very honorable and pleasant, except when we were out of stock on something, you would come in not very nice, but that's okay, I had to put up with that. But Skip, you're a very classy person, and it's been an honor to know you. Congratulations.
Hey, Skipper, if you're too hot in that sun, there's a seat behind Sharon. You're okay? Okay. Just trying to take care of you. We want to have you make it through the whole event. Who's next? Laura, come on up here, babe.
Skipper, Congratulations. And I want to thank you for everything that you've contributed to Team Horner education. You are very much a teacher and have taught me a lot, even though we didn't have a whole lot of time together. But having always been a pool guy first, you have a common sense approach to teaching and a natural and honest salesmanship that makes you relatable and down to earth. You've always maintained a curiosity and a willingness to share information. That is the foundation of our CAP program, the Career Advancement Program, that's still active today. From a personal standpoint, you welcomed me on board with Connie Sue the first day for lunch at Longhorns, and we ate there a lot. Thank you for your support and new ideas and programs and always keeping it real. Love you.
Mike, come on up.
In case you don't know who I am, I'm Mike Plaque, and I got 35 reasons why I want to congratulate Skip on the one thing he didn't get done Sunday, and that was the Miami Dolphins victory. I cover the Northeast, and Skip is the reason why I think I'm probably as successful as I am in selling heat pumps. I wish I had a cocktail napkin because I could get it sold here in less than a minute with Skip's help. Skip had the luxury of knowing my sister first. He's been a great mentor to me. It's one of the most memorable stories I can tell about Skip was how excited I was to score Majestic Pools and Kevin Harm and his company, and we're going to have dinner with them in Atlantic City. And I told him what a great building they got, all these autopilots they're going to sell and heat pumps, and we go out to dinner, and he gets the luxury of meeting Johnny Bunch, the owner. And Johnny's sitting at the bar, and Skip makes a comment, something to the effect of, "Boy, with all Mike kept telling me, I would have thought you were 6 feet tall." Well, Johnny steps off of his stool, and this is about how tall he is. No, he's not quite that short, but he was all of 4'2". And needless to say, we didn't only keep Majestic, we grew Majestic, and we earned Kevin Harm, one of the other great salespeople up in the Northeast. Skip, thank you for everything you did for me. Congratulations, it's well deserved.
So this is another one of our Northeastern stars, Mr. Kevin Harm. That's a real cute outfit you got on there today, honey.
Oh, where do I start? I spent 5 years in therapy trying to forget some of the stuff Skip got me into. But yeah, needless to say, I did work for Majestic, and I wanted to kill Skip that day. I was like, Mike, this guy's going to get me killed. But through our first meeting, I think, when you interviewed me and I told you were full of shit, and that to hanging out, he wanted to come down to Buffalo. Funny story. I heard about all the snow here, there, everywhere. So we're driving back down from one of the customers. Skip's looking at his phone, trying to figure out how it works. He looks up, and we're in the middle of a blizzard. 24 hours later, he's got to dig himself out of the hotel to get to the airport because I'm like, dude, there's 6 feet of snow. Good luck. Have a nice time. So we sent him a van. He's like, holy shit. 4 miles later, there's only about a foot of snow. But again, between that and I think you're the only guy that ever got drunk on non-alcoholic beer at book club, right? But thank you for all the good times, all the stuff you taught me, man. You're awesome. Stay good, and we'll see you soon, Bubba.
Okay, who's next? Okay.
Amigo. Yeah, that's what I call him all the time, amigo. Okay, my name is Gaspar. I work at Aquacal. I've been in customer support for almost 13 years or so. So we all know Skip because he always tries to help everybody. He helps everybody. Every department that I've heard is helping every department. Same thing in customer support, technical support. Anytime that I had a question, especially with cooling, nobody knew more than him on cooling. So anytime that I had a customer giving me a hard time on cooling side, Skip was my go-to guy. And he tried to help everybody, no matter what. One time I said, Skip, my kids are killing me because they want a pool. They want a pool at my house, and I don't have a pool. He says, Gaspar, go to the nearest, what's the store name? Like Mr. Pool, I think. And he says, go to this place, go and find the pool that you like, the above ground pool. Just give me a call. This son of a biscuit owes me a favor. So you go there, just ask for the model and everything, and I'm gonna get you hooked up. So next day, I call him, and he says, go and pick it up. But unfortunately, I couldn't because my house doesn't meet the requirements for a pool. But thank you, my friend. Thank you, my amigo. You've always been for me and with these customers. Congratulations, you deserve it.
Thank you, Gaspar. Who's next? Uh-oh, this could be dangerous. So, Jamie, introduce yourself.
My name's Jamie Pittman. I don't have any bad stories about Skip. I just wanted to get up and recognize you publicly. That we did make several road trips up in Oklahoma and Arkansas. And he really, like Kaffa said, taught me how to sell heat pumps. And he's a relationship guy. I'm a relationship guy also. I just want you to know I appreciate you helping me. The way that you sell and put it in layman's terms where people understand is a gift to be able to do that. I will tell you one short story. It's not a big deal, but he did get on me pretty good. Probably our first road trip. And, of course, I'm there to learn. I get the appointment set up. We go in, and we have a table full of salespeople, and he's presenting the heat pumps. We first get there, and, of course, I automatically get up and start handing brochures out to everybody. And, of course, I got scolded really bad when we got in the car for me never to do that again. If you give those brochures out when I'm talking, they're not going to listen to me anymore. They're going to be looking at the brochures. So that stuck with me for a long time, too. But I just wanted to say thank you for everything. Appreciate you.
All right, who's next? Nobody? Is that it? Uh-oh. Kim's coming up. Yeah, just come on. There you go.
I've known Skip for 17 years now that I've been here. I know he's played a big role in a lot of our lives here, definitely on heat pumps and chlorine generators company-wide. But a big, huge part, as Bill touched on, Skip is really responsible for a lot of the culture here that Bill's put in place and Mike is helping to keep going. And they've been huge benefiters, but Skip is really part of that culture, a big part of it for us. So I appreciate you, Skip, for all you've done for me, professionally, of course, but definitely personally. You're a great person to know. I love you with all my heart. You know, our families have gotten very close. He knows my kids, and nothing's more important. You're absolutely right. One of the other people, I'm not sure who said it, the most important thing to Skip is his family. I hope you guys know that, but he brings that to work also and instills that in all of us as well. So we've had lots of fun times on the road, Skip. Some fun trips, Navy Pier in Chicago, and some fun cruises. Anytime we'd go on those cruises back when Skip was still drinking, everybody on the ship knew Skip. Every cruise, right? Everyone had their own stories about Skip and the cruises. But everything he does wholeheartedly, lots of energy, and everybody else can feel it coming out of him. And it's infectious to all of us. And we should all learn from that and try to bring that out ourselves as we're going around, with our company and with our families. So thank you for all you've done for us, Skip. You've done a huge, huge benefit to this company, and you truly deserve to be in the Hall of Fame here. Appreciate it.
So, introduce yourself.
Hi, for you though I don't know, my name's Jim Acord. I am the AquaCal salesperson over on the west side of the state. As a remote employee, I didn't get a chance to hang with Skip as much as I would like to, but when I started 16 years ago, I came from a different industry, and I was very, very fortunate to Skip take me under his wing like he does so many other people. And like it said before, he's able to break down the complex to the simple, which made my transition 1,000 times % better. And I'll always appreciate that, Skip. I think it was Kevin was saying, I still have a bloody napkin that I bring with me to show people on how to get a heat pump to work there. Skip we do a lot of training. I've done some with Skip. And he has become a legend over on my side of the state in Naples. We have a customer over there, a big retail customer who a lot of the pool people really don't like. And Skip came over to help me out with one of our seminars we were doing. And this name came up, as it does quite a bit, Rec Warehouse, for whoever knows. And Skip, yeah, I know Rec Warehouse. I love Rec Warehouse. Immediately, I've got 5 people standing up and walking towards the door. And Skip, I've never seen him flustered. First time I've ever seen you flustered on that. But he was able to get them at the door, did his Skip magic, and they are now, 2 of them are my biggest customers I have down there. So thank you very much for the tutelage, for the help you've given, and for the skills you've given me to help me be better. Really appreciate it.
Next, Matthew, you gonna say something? No? Is that it? Is that it? Nobody else? Skip, it's your turn. There's one more story that I would like to have you tell as a part of yours, if it's not in your notes. I want you to tell them about Mr. Morozumi in Japan. Tell them that story whenever you're ready.
I'll start right off with it. I just got to figure out how to tell a story. Anybody that knows me knows I'm pretty much a picky eater. And BK sends me over to Japan with Hank Moore, the guy that we bought the International from. I meet Hank. He's an attorney who graduated from Stanford. His wife's an attorney. He's got an ascot on. He tells me I got to wear a 3-piece suit. Introduces me to these Japanese customers. So one particular customer's name was Mr. Morozumi. So Hank tells me Mr. Morozumi does not speak English at all, not a word. So we have a translator. And Mr. Morozumi was a fairly good-sized customer, I was told. So we go out to dinner with Morozumi and his translator. His translator's name was Jack, because I'll never forget him. And we had something to eat, and I ended up with this hunk of jelly. I ended up with this hunk of jelly in my mouth. It was the best way I could describe it is like the jelly around a canned ham or something. I don't know what it was, but somehow the Japs got it in there. Wow. I got it in my mouth, and I'm like, what in the hell am I going to do with this? I couldn't swallow it. So I decide, well, I'll take a glass of water and I'll swallow it like a pill. So I take the glass of water, I swallow it, it goes half down, half up. Oh man, I'm going to lose it right here on the table. I made it. I get back to the hotel. Now I tell Hank, hey, that's it. We have to go out to dinner with Morozumi again tomorrow night. We're going to tell Jack that we got to go eat here at the hotel. Okay, no problem. Next morning, my phone rings. It's Jack, the translator. And they called me Mr. Skip. Oh, Mr. Skip. Mr. Morizumi like you. He want to take you to his favorite restaurant. I said, oh, shit. That was before we had HR. They're not here, are they? And so I said, we got to get out of this. Nope. Morizumi and Jack pick us up in Tokyo. We get on the bullet train, take it an hour out of Tokyo. That puts us 100 miles outside of Tokyo in a little bitty Japanese town. And you could put me to sleep, wake me up, and I could tell you I was in Japan just from the smell. So I'm like, oh, yeah. So I go in there. We go into a restaurant, and the restaurant is about twice, maybe 3 times the size of Bill's office. We sit down, and they bring out this little bowl, and the bowl has 4 fish in it. So I'm looking at the fish, and the fish are swimming. And I'm like, Sam's not with me, so he can't fish here. What the hell am I going to do with these? So with that, the translator stands up and says, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom. So I figured, oh, good. Now I could talk to Hank because Morizumi speaks no English. So I said to Hank, I said, hey, what's with these fish? I'm not eating this. He said, yeah, you got to eat them. He said, oh, don't worry. They're in vinegar and this and that, and they're going to be chemically cooked. I said, I ain't eating them. He said, I got to tell you something. If you want their business, you'll eat those fish. And I said, well, I got a news flash for you. And he said, what's that? I said, I don't want their beeping business that bad. So, with that, Morizumi, who speaks no English, jumps up and starts screaming, beep, beep, beep. It's the F word all over the restaurant. Ah, I know beep, brother. Holy cow. Hank Moore turns bright red. I'm looking up at the Lord saying, give me back the last 30 minutes. I'll be good the rest of my life. I swear to God. I think this is it. I lost my job. Morizumi goes into the back of the kitchen, and I could hear him back there. Beep, beep. I'm like, oh my God, oh man, what did I do? Out comes Morizumi, gets me by the hand, takes me into the kitchen, shows me some shrimp, shows me some lobsters, shows me some boiled water, goes like this. I said, yep. Cooked me up a great dinner, started speaking English to me. He spoke English, just broken a little bit, and he was embarrassed by it. But he come to find out he liked fishing. I told him that my son, Phil, was a boat captain and a fisherman big time, and he said he wanted to get fin or reels. I said, I can get them for you wholesale. He knew that word. Wholesale, oh boy. He gave me a 110-year-old hibachi, which I still have today, took me to his home where Hank Moore had never been before, and after that, bought by the container load. And even after I left here and went with Bruce, he would call up there to place the orders. He also decided he wanted to buy a boat. So he said, if I come to Florida, will your son help me buy a boat? In his broken English. I said, yes. He came here. He and Phil went around. He went down to Dusky and he bought twin diesel, I don't know how big, 40-foot boat or whatever, from Dusky. And he just opens up his shirt, takes out his money belt, and pays for the boat cash. Gave my son a couple of grand, and at the time, my wife was pregnant. As a matter of fact, she had just gone down for the amniocentesis test to make sure everything was good with my daughter, Heather. So Morizumi says, to honor you, I'm going to name the boat after your daughter. I said, fantastic. He said, what's your daughter's name? I said, Heather Lynn. He said, super. He gets the boat over there. He takes a picture of it in the bay. And what do you think the name of the boat was? Heather Wren. But that was the biggest turnaround I ever did in a sales call, ever. Another overseas call I got to share with you. I got hit by a truck in Hong Kong. Because this third world country, England, where'd she go? Oh, there she is. Taught them to drive on the wrong side of the road. So I had an appointment, and Bill, if Bill caught you without a pen at an appointment, you'd be shot. I needed a pen. My pen quit running. I ran out of the hotel, ran across the street to get a pen, came back, and I got hit by a truck. Well, I looked the wrong way. I stepped out. Truck hit me, threw me in the air, ripped the shoulder right out of my suit because I had a suit on, busted my glasses, scraped up my whole face. I was trembling all over the place. I'm like, holy cow. So what am I going to do now? I ain't going to no hospital in Hong Kong. I can tell you that. They still using wooden needles over there. I'm like, now what am I going to do? So I went to the hotel, and I saw the hotel doctor. And he told me, lay down, watch your stool. If you feel this way, come see me. Other than that, see you later. I said, why am I shaking? Because I was shaking so bad. Oh, you're in shock. I'm going to give you something for that. That's okay. So I do that. So I figured, man, I better call Bill. I can't call my wife and tell her I'm in Hong Kong and I got hit by a truck. So I called Bill. What do you think I got on the phone? That silly ass laugh. I said, what the hell are you laughing at? I got hit by a truck. He said, well, you're talking to me, so you must be all right. But I had a lot of experiences, and I've been in, I don't know, 17, 18 different countries, different cultures. I've learned so much in my adult life since I've been here. It's unbelievable. And I wish I had learned more. I could have paid more attention. I wish we had more of the young people that work for us here tonight so they could understand a lot of this. Okay. I am so deeply honored to be inducted tonight. You'll never know. Okay. I'm now tied to Horner and the Horner company and the culture for life. That makes my day. In the beginning, and Lockwood already covered this, there was only a couple of us outside sales guys. Lockwood had Glades Road South. I was the newbie, so I got Glades Road North. And then we had Bob LeCara calling on all the major accounts here, who was a fantastic sales guy. Fantastic. I won Employee of the Year twice. I was outside salesman up in that territory. And I could tell you, the reason I won those things are Mr. Moyer, wherever he is, not Kenny Moyer. Kenny Moyer was one, and Todd First. Where's Todd First? He's not here, unfortunately. But, is he? Todd's over there. Yep, it was Todd First and Kenny Moyer. Todd and they were my drivers, and I found out real quick the driver could make you or break you, and those guys did. And then Bob LeCara came up with a system, because we didn't have computers or anything like that, where he used to spray all the boxes, spray orange paint on them, so that the minute you walked into somebody's warehouse, if I saw a Stay Right pump and Kevin's warehouse, I know damn well Kevin didn't buy it from us, right? So that's how we made that work. But that was just working together, okay? And that's how we started. And like Dan said, he'd do all the retail stores. If I had a problem with the retail store, he'd come up and help me. He had a builder problem, any kind of issues with a builder, I'd go down and help them. That went on for a couple of years, and then Bill moved me over to selling specialty products. What do we call it? Marketing? That was Horner Marketing or something. Horner Marketing Services. Should have known better than that when I heard that one. So the first thing we had to sell was Pipe Dream Furniture. That was pretty good. The next one I got was Cuesta Pool Cleaners. Those things were cool as hell, man, for 15 minutes. So we came up with a great marketing program. We finally had a cleaner that a builder could make a profit on, its retail store could make a profit on. It fit perfect. Everything was good. We sold the hell out of them. But after they were in the pool for a couple of months, they didn't work so good. The turbines jammed up, and oh my God. So I'm like, what are we going to do with all these Questas? I had one distributor in Pennsylvania that had a whole warehouse full. What was her name? Harrington. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's a warehouse in Pennsylvania, distributor. Guess what happened? Burned down. Guess what happened to all the Questas? Burned up. Woohoo! Dodged another bullet. Then finally I went on to the chlorine generators and the heat pumps, which people have mentioned tonight, and the heat pumps are really my passion. AquaCal, I had a passion from AquaCal right from the beginning. And Jeff, I thought Jeff was going to talk about the time he tried to electrocute me. I was an electronics technician in the Air Force, so I figured I know a little about what's going on in here. What's going on, Jeff? I stick my head in the heat pump. He sticks his head in there because we were flooding compressors all over the place. We had stainless steel heat exchangers. And he said, well, we'll know in a minute. And he pushes the contactor shut. Well, he pushes the contactor shut. The thing's dead short. There's electricity flying every which damn way. I was 3 houses over by the time Jeff got me to stop. It was like, but we worked hard in those days, and we played hard, and we had fun. We all had fun. I would tell you that it's been fun. It's been fantastic. And I could have never reached any of my goals without the team behind me. I've been blessed to have a team and the great culture that this company has. Without them, I'd have never reached a single one of my goals. Not a one. And almost everybody that I look at out here has helped me. I've listened to you tell me I helped you. I'm real glad. Out here, you've really helped me. And we got customers in here that I really respect. And I'll tell you what, I think the team goes on beyond just inside. It goes outside too. It's a team effort, and Bill taught me a long time ago, no deal's a good deal unless what? It's a good deal for everybody. It's not paid for. We're going to get back to that, by the way. And I make sure that it's a good deal for my customers. It's a good deal for us, and it's always works. And that brings me to the culture. I've heard from time to time that our culture is not the same as it used to be. Mike, I'm sure you've heard that since you've been back here. My response to that is, yeah, it is a little different now that we have over 500 team members, employees, owners, but it's even better. It's better than it's ever been. Sometimes we get so close to it, we don't see it. But now I've been retired for 2 years, and I look back on it and I see it. And dumb as I am, I've learned some stuff as I got older. So, I mean, the culture has just been like, boom. And don't take my word for it. You think the culture here isn't great? Just ask Yana. Just ask Christina. Just ask Chuck. Where's Chuck? Chuck is here. He's working probably. All right. Or you ask Norm. Where's Norm? There's right there is the king of culture. They ought to have a title in this company, King of Culture, because there's the guy right there. The culture in this company is fantastic. And we're just better at everything than we ever did it before. And it's really good to know when you have a really serious problem, like Jana, Christina, Chuck. It's really, really, really comforting to know you're not alone. You're not alone. And as long as you're an employee here, you're not alone. And that's powerful, real powerful. Our education is better than ever. We educate on pool equipment, water chemistry, team members are taught, but not only team members, Laura has expanded it to customers also and emphasized that quite a bit. Good job, Laura. Education and health. We get education and health to our employees. Where's Kim Kent? that ought to be Saint Kim. But thanks to Kim Kent, we've got a health program in here. It's way. Why? Because the company cares about you. We got exercise coaches or whatever you want to call them. We got so much here, it's unbelievable. Just pay attention, take advantage of it. We got classes on finance, how to manage your money. Try to help you grow that way, personally. Bill has always emphasized that. Okay? And look at the profiting you guys are getting from the Team Horner membership owners. That's exploded. I don't know what each one of you has in it, but you ought to look. That's pretty damn awesome. I think you ought a round of applause for that one. I mean, the amount of money you guys got in there, that's awesome. And that's thanks to Mike and Bill. And it gives you even more incentive. If you keep growing as the company grows, it gives you more incentive to keep this company going on the unbelievable journey or course. I'm standing here today in total disbelief, to be honest with you. I'm so proud that I had a meaningful impact on this enormous success. Never in a million years would I believe that I was standing in the backyard back here getting an award like this, and our company sales would be over $325 million for the year. I wouldn't have believed that in a million years. But look at us. Look at you. Congratulations to all of you. It's getting better and better all the time. And Dr. Kent, I'm not calling you Dr. Kent. Bill. And you're not my boss anymore, so. I recently had a conversation with Bill, and Bill shared with me that he considers himself one of the luckiest men in the world. He's decided to give back. He's concentrated on every child's a swimmer. He also has team scholarships. He has a scholarship, a Horner Scholarship Fund. He matches, I call it NSBI still. What is it anymore? PI, Best Buy, TDY, they don't even know what it is. Doesn't matter what it is. Bill matches it. Every child is a swimmer. Who's funding that? Who's funding that? That's pretty damn awesome. That's real awesome. You know why? See that little grandson I got over there? He can't swim yet. The more swimmers we get, the less fatalities we've had. And we've had them right in our industry, close by over the years. I won't mention any names, but we've lost kids, and I just think that's fantastic. Bill also shared with me that his success in those areas is more rewarding to him than growing this business. And I never thought I'd hear that. And I think that Kim Kent has changed this man for the better, for sure. I also have had some conversations with Mike Dooley. Mike's an Army vet, okay, and is fully committed to maintaining the team culture. Then I read the letter from Bryant. Did anybody read a letter from Bryant? No? Bryant Ewing up in Jacksonville put out a letter on how proud he is of his team and how much he loves his team. And Bryant is what? 21-year Navy vet, okay? I personally am an Air Force vet. Danny is an Air Force vet, okay? I have come to the conclusion for sure that has me totally convinced that military veterans understand the importance of team concept and having a deep desire to be part of something bigger than themselves. I'm sure that Mike's going to be a success because I know he's got that in his backbone. The conversation I had with Mike is like when he got out, he was like, oh man, I'm out. Where's my ID card? Where's this? Where's that? All of a sudden, he wasn't part of a big group. Here, you're part of a group. You'll never be alone. You got other people pulling for you. It's awesome. It's awesome. And you guys should defend that culture to the core, right as best as you can. Well, I had the privilege of traveling to over 17 different countries throughout my career. I wasn't home a lot. Right? I wasn't able to do this without the support of my family. I missed much of Heather's childhood, but thankfully I had my son, Phil. Phil provided support to the house for all the household duties. Even when his friend's twins spilled blue paint on his floor in his bedroom, so I came home to new Spanish tile in my office and in his bedroom. How do you like the Spanish tile, Dad? What? And then my wife provided all the nurturing. And then she was there for me always. I'm proud as a peacock to accept this award and to the tied to the team forever. I love you all. Thank you.
One of the things that that actually Skip brought to our attention, we thought it was a great thing, was that while we do offer scholarships for employees, children, with being a member of the Hall of Fame, not only are the employees' children eligible for a scholarship, but also the grandchildren. So for as long as you've got grandchildren growing up and whatever it is, they're going to be benefiting from all the contributions that you've made over the years. So congratulations on that too. If everybody wants to come over here, this will be a mock-up of the plaque that's going to be out here in Skip's honor. So if you want to take a look at that, feel free.